Hi and welcome back to White Noise. Today we are getting absolutely demolished and talking about Attack on Titan, if you can't tell by our get-ups. Me and Skye are absolutely obsessed with Attack on Titan. We kind of were already, like back when like the first season came out, there was the big gap, we kind of lost interest. And then with it just absolutely taking over social media with the latest season, half season, whatever you want to call it, there is much debate. It just flooded our socials. We got back into it again. We planned this episode before the news came out, and we will get into that and what people's opinions are on the latest update with Attack on Titan. But anyway, we thought we were going to be getting absolutely demolished and crying over a finale. So that aside,
I was ready. I was so
in.
ready. I like quite aptly decided wine was the best thing to drink for this. But yeah, I know you said we would get into it, but I don't know how to start this without just talking about it right now.
What, the ending?
Just how they decided to go, like, I get it, but just how they decided to go, you know what? You can have another season, like basically another season.
So I think what I'm going to start with is we don't talk about TV that much on this podcast, let alone anime. So anime has quite a different structure to say like Western TV shows, in that it's quite often that seasons are split into parts, which is how Attack on Titan was. So, you know, in an anime, you'll get season 1, part 1, and then a year later or 6 months later, you'll get part 2. And then you could be waiting forever for season 2, or it could come out very soon after. And you're like, why was that one season and this is a season? But anyway, it tends to do with arcs, doesn't it, in manga and anime? So essentially what's happened with Attack on Titan is it's been passed around, you know, it's, how do you even begin to explain it? Season 1 came out, massive hit.
Yeah.
Waited years for a season 2, bit of a banger.
Like 4 years. Yeah.
Exactly. But it was a very short season because like it made sense. Like the seasons are kind of split into eras and like vibe. Season 2 was only like the length of a part of a different season. Then season 3 came out. It had a slightly darker, more human tone, more human focused tone. And then it changed studios, went to Wit Studios. Some people like that, some people don't. There was a lot of debate about whether it's going to be another few seasons for them, if it'd be the final season, because it was called, as we all know, the final season. But at this point, they could have done multiple seasons. It's just getting ridiculous because we had season 4, part 1 came out in late 2020 and then ended 2021 sometime. And then this part, which everyone thought was the ending of Attack on Titan, started at the end of 2021. And as it was leading on up to it, we all just were like, there is no way this is ending. There's too many manga volumes to end.
I doubt anybody's going to make the same comparison, but to me, it gave the same vibes of like when the Final Destination films were coming out. And then you got like Final Destination 3, the Final Destination. Oh, wait, Final Destination 5. And it's the same with this. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm so split on this because yes, whilst we have to wait yet another year to find out what happens, because to anybody that doesn't know and probably may not be able to guess from this episode, I'm not a manga reader. I know Lyanna hasn't read the manga, but you know,
I read stuff up to about where season 2 is, and then I went the anime only.
So like, yeah, I need to know the ending, but I'm also not ready to say goodbye. So like you said, we planned to record this. We thought it was going to be hugely emotional because we were going to be saying goodbye to something that had meant so much to us in our youth, and now also and in our adults, adulthood.
Very bizarre.
Literally, Now it's kind of like, yeah, I am happy that we don't have to say goodbye yet, but at the same time, I'm like, I just need to know.
Yeah, I completely understand. A lot of people actually didn't they? They switched to the manga because they were so fed up. It's so interesting to me that so many people switch to the manga because, you know, a lot of the time when something becomes an anime, a lot of people stick to the anime and leave it at that. But I think it happened because people had a funny feeling about this final season, but it even started happening after season 1 because, you know, that big buffer period we were talking about, it was really because they made the anime too soon after the manga started. So they needed time for the author Hajime Isayama to catch up and, you know, write more story, which is really interesting because I don't know if you know this, but he said that the anime influenced the manga, which is like a very rare occurrence, really. So he wrote Eren, the protagonist, in a certain way. You know, he was like very like shoujo, he is like, you know, he he's a protagonist, like he was to like attack on Titan and all this stuff. And then he heard the voice actor's portrayal of Eren, and the voice actor kind of makes Eren seem more like complicated, and like sometimes he sounds a bit doubtful of himself, like, you know, he sounds angry but there's a little bit of fear in his voice. And Hajime Isayama said that voice performance influenced his writing of Eren, which I think is so fucking cool.
That's cool.
Say.
I like that.
And it's nice that, you know, the way that this manga and anime have coexisted, they've influenced each other and all. And I think it's affected how I've enjoyed it. I don't know about you.
I think this is why, though, this is like one of the ones that's become like the most, I mean, I know it's also easy to say the most popular currently because it is only like, as of recording this, it's only been a few weeks since the second part of the final part ended. But I think it's created this idea of like so much community. And like for me, especially because I said back in like our 2021 highlights episode that one thing I wanted to do this year is I wanted to experience things more as they happen. And Attack on Titan was one of those things that I was unsure about because I didn't know if I wanted to wait until it was all out or to watch it episode by episode, because up until this part of the final season I had just watched it all at once. Like I watched, by the time I'd watched season 1 they were all out, but then I did have that big break between season 1 and 2. And then I did watch some of season 2, and then I think season 2 took a break, and it was during the season 2 break that I started to drift off a bit, and then by the time it had come back I didn't know where to even watch it.
Yeah, of course.
So when it came to this one, I had started rewatching all of Attack on Titan last year, and I'd watched it from season 1 all the way up to its most recent part before the second part of season 4 came out. But the thing is that I didn't realize it wasn't finished. I was watching it, and as I got to season 4 I realized there were only like 12 episodes or something, and I was like, shit, how are they gonna summarize everything in 12 episodes? And then I decided to Google it, and I was like, I was so annoyed because I thought I got unlucky, and I was like, I kind of accidentally waited so long and then I was going to get to see it all, but I didn't. And now somehow I've still been caught up in the modern day Attack on Titan fandom, and I love it because I really enjoy the fandom itself, but I'm just so frustrated because I think like you said, anime is so different to like Western TV and stuff like that, but mostly in the sense that the episodes are so short that watching it week to week, I don't know how much it fulfilled me, if that makes sense.
You kind of wish you'd saved it in a way, but then also then you don't get the community aspect so much. So
I don't wish I'd saved it because realistically I would have got a lot of spoilers, and I fucking hate spoilers. Like I did not want to see anything and then like go to what, like I'm sure I still would have enjoyed it, but I didn't want to have anything that would have ruined my experience of it. So I am happy I watched it when I did, but I'm currently rewatching this part of season 4 to see if I can change my mind. But it's just because there are some anime episodes that are like fillers, and when you have to wait a week between filler episodes, it's just like it starts to drag so much. And it was at those moments that I was like, oh, should I have just waited? I think with this particular part of the season as well, it was like the first so many episodes were insane, and I'm sure we'll get to them in more detail in a minute. They were fucking insane. Then the middle part started to dip a bit, and then the ending I think was really predictable. So it was really hard for me to make like my decision on if I actually enjoyed it.
I found the pacing of season 4 as an entire thing so weird. Of course that was going to be the case. It's going to feel different because it was a different studio, and we are going to go into the studio changing. We are. But yeah, the pacing was so bizarre because anyone who's watched the whole show knows that they basically were panicking because it was so slow in the beginning. Like season 1, fuck me. Like basically 12 episodes of season 1 are the same arc, but like, oh my god, you'll have 3 episodes showing the exact same fucking event from different angles, and not in a good way. Like it's like you could have done that within 1 episode. It just felt like they were, you know, pushing it out to kind of create an entire season. And I still think that they could have condensed that and included season 2 in season 1, whatever, anyway, because that was so fucking slow, and now it's so sped up, but then also weirdly slow at some parts. I find this current pacing and tone a bit off personally. I don't know. I wish it returned to the pacing of maybe like my sweet spot, like season 2, early season 3. Like I think I could have enjoyed this final season a lot more. But of course we still have the final season final part to see how they'll handle that. But
yeah,
who knows?
I mean, up until this most recent part, I was like, every single season that came out, I was like, it got better and it got better and it got better. My favorite of the entire thing is like the second half of season 3, like when they go back to Shiganshia, and the whole thing with Bertolt and Reiner and Armin and just everything.
It's honestly
I was
insane.
so fucking insane. And then like season 4 has the whole advantage of everything gets revealed to you about Marley, and it's like so interesting. The parallels are crazy. And then I think with this second part, like I said, the first few episodes were amazing, but I don't know if they set them up for like a little bit of a failure, because then everything after that just felt so slow. And then as soon as it got announced that there was going to be a part 3, everybody knew where it was going to end. Manga readers and just anime watchers knew where it was going to end.
Yeah, exactly. I think I just kind of get stressed out with season 3 because it's like, let's do time jumps, let's skip shit and not kind of go slow with certain bits people would want it to, and then other bits fucking drag and they take so much time with moments where you wouldn't want them to do. Like I actually quite like the final episode because it took it back, it had some like sweet intimate personal moments, and it's took its time focusing in on important moments. But like, and it seemed to actually be quite popular with the fans, like the final episode, like because it's not, you know, the final episode now, we know that. If it had been the final ever episode, I wouldn't have been happy with it. But for the final episode of this part, you know, setting up for, I feel like I'm saying final a lot, but what can you do? Setting up for the final part of the final season, it was an excellent episode. Like, I just fucking
Oh,
loved
don't
it.
get me wrong. I think it was a brilliant episode. I just think it was extremely predictable.
Oh,
And
yeah,
now
of course.
knowing that I have to wait a year, I feel like a little bit cheated, because
I
it's
do
like, well,
too, yeah.
I knew you were going to end it there.
Mhm.
And now I know what I'm waiting for. But at the same time, it's kind of like, how else? There's no other way you could have ended that season,
Yeah,
really, that
pretty
part of the
much.
season,
Yeah.
realistically.
Oh, I'm just so frustrated because I don't know about you. I wanted a film. I wanted a film.
I did, but then there's that part of me that I just want it to drag on a bit longer. And I feel like, and I'm also so scared of spoilers. Like, I cannot express my fear of spoilers. That I just feel like I wouldn't have seen the film in time. Whereas at least with a season, I can literally watch it as soon as it comes
Yeah,
out. I don't have
that's
to worry
true.
about booking tickets. I
I
don't have to
guess,
worry about whether or not it's going to come to where I live.
I guess, like for me, it was Wit Studios. Let's talk about it. Mappa, let's talk about it. So both have developed a reputation for rushing shit. Like, oh my god, just postpone stuff, or like just, you know, put out a bigger you know, give yourself more time, you know, whatever. I'm sure a lot of people would prefer something be postponed for a week than
I also
half-assed.
personally don't
And
understand how they couldn't postpone stuff, considering how long there was between season 1 and 2. Like, the Attack on Titan fans, as much as we might complain, we are prepared to wait.
we're patient. Like, I do think Attack on
Yeah.
Titan fans prefer quality over everything else. They just do.
Yeah.
And I think my problem with Mappa has been how much they've rushed. Don't get me wrong, Wit did it too. But like we say, they admitted when they needed time. They made that wait between season 1 and 2. They learned from their mistake. Whereas with Mappa, those fuckers, they literally gave themselves like months in between part 1 and 2, which, if you ask me, was fucking insane. And it's so obvious that's why there needed to be a part 3. And it's why I personally wanted a film, because I felt like a film would have had a higher staff, a higher budget, and they would have had a more appropriate time frame. And I don't know, I'm worried about a part 3. I'm so worried because at least they've given a year. That's all I'll say. At least there's a year. So hopefully it'll be
Yeah,
given.
but there was a
Like,
year between part 1 and part 2. And then there was still the.
oh no, I mean a year after part 2 has ended, is when part 3 is gonna start. There wasn't a year between when part 1 ended and part 2 started.
How long was there between it?
Season 4 part 1 ended in like spring of 2021, and then in autumn winter of 2021 part 2 started.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, they've given themselves more time. Like that's a good sign. Like they know they can't do dirty, because I don't know if you saw, but have you seen all the like little mistakes throughout season 4? Oh, it's awful. And
I have, but you know what? Like, as much as I do, like, I'm happy that they'll have more time to like be able to like perfect it a bit more now. I did notice them, but I didn't care.
Oh no, you care more
Like
about the story.
they didn't take me out of it at all. The only bits where I ever actually really, when I was watching it and I was like, okay, this is definitely a different studio, were like the Titan fight, a Titan, the Titan fights. Like every time they animated a Titan, you could tell that it was a different studio. Whilst I know like the art designs were vastly different, that's when I really noticed. Otherwise, I didn't mind too much.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like I'm very forgiving when it comes to animation. Maybe it's just because I'm a terrible artist, so I couldn't do it myself. But like, if they decide to cut corners somewhere, I'm like, okay, I probably wouldn't really notice.
Do you have a favorite studio? I know it's a very big question, but I think a lot of people have a gut feeling, and I can't do it personally. It's not that simple, honestly.
I didn't even realize how much of a debate. I mean, I guess I should have, but I didn't realize how much of a debate there was between the studios changing. And it's like, personally, yes, obviously, I concede that the animation changed, but I think it worked for the season. Maybe that's just me.
I completely agree. So I did the same as you. I've been binging it to like, you know, rewatch, catch up, all that jazz. And the stark contrast when you go from Wit to Mappa, oh my God, like your gut kind of does say to you, if you've been binging it, if you've not done the wait, oh, I don't like this, you know, like this show I love, and I've had 3 seasons of this style, like, oh no, like it's so weird. But then as you see more of this final season, like, wait, that was a good fucking call, because it just needed to be different. It's so much grittier. And personally, I like that the manga style gets grittier, and I just don't think Wit were doing that enough. Like I noticed in season 3 it was starting to look grittier, but it wasn't stark enough, honestly. Like a big change had to be made, and honestly it had to be a studio change. It just did.
Is this also slightly biased though, because you've been majorly thirsting over Reiner?
No. See, right, let's talk about it. So basically, right, I will say they did him good. They did my man good. And they did a lot of the characters good. Like, I really enjoy that Mikasa looks like more of a warrior. Aside from the fact they gave her mummy milkers. That's just a whole thing in and of itself. I don't really understand. That's a bit weird to me. But at the end of the day, it's anime. What do we expect?
I was going to say, just quickly to cut in.
Yeah.
I was going to say that apart from the fact, amazing story, amazing characters, amazing animation, one of the reasons I fucking love Attack on Titan is because even though it shouldn't matter, when it comes to non-anime watchers judging anime watchers, it always comes down to like, how can you watch stuff that's so sexualized? You're like, it's not all sexualized. And then but this is my point. Then like you rewatch animes and you're like, oh shit, actually it is kind of sexualized. Like one of my favorite animes outside of Attack on Titan is Sword Art Online. And I really like it up until maybe season 3, because season 3 is just something else. But I always have to say to people, I really like it. However, I don't understand why they sexualize it so much. But like you said, with Attack on Titan, they don't do that.
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, Mikasa just...
But I'm going to say it. I'm not a massive fan of it, but it weirdly works for her, because I like that she's more of a warrior in the final season. And also, I don't know if you've noticed it, they kind of gave her a bit of a personality back, don't you think? But then they also gave her boobs, so it's like they don't completely androgynize her when she becomes more warrior-like. So I'm like, I kind of get why they did it, but like, oh my God, I don't know about you. Have you seen the people on TikTok that like complain about Mikasa looking like a man? I'm like, have you seen her tits? Like,
there is, so like I have a friend who are like, other than yourself, who I discussed this with, and they said that they don't really like how masculine Mikasa has become in this season. And I was really confused at first, because I was like, what do you mean masculine?
She just has shorter hair.
That's all that's happened. But I don't know if it's the gay in me, but like I love it. I think she looks great.
Like honestly, it just makes so much more sense to me. Like even in season 1, Eren even says to her like, cut your hair shorter, you know? And it's like, come on. Like, did you ever watch like what is it? It's Attack on Titan Junior High or the chibi version. There's so many not parodies, official things where like literally you see Jean say like, I love your long hair, and then he's not there for the conversation between Mikasa and Eren, so she comes in the next day with shorter hair and he's like, oh, is it because of what I said to her?
But the thing is, you say that in like the Attack on Titan like a high school thing, it pretty much happens in the anime as well. Like the first time that Jean sees her, he's like obsessed, like it's her hair that's the thing, and then Eren's just like, cut it off.
And she's like, okay. I cry at that bit when like Connie's walking along and Jean like wipes his hand on him and he's like, what did you just do? He's like, I wiped off, what is it, like my trust in others.
My dignity.
This is the thing, right? I love about Attack on Titan, right, is that it over time went into character more. And so my sister, honest to God, she's been living and breathing Attack on Titan. She's been watching like a stupid amount of interviews, sending me the links. And there was a really good one with Hajime Isayama saying that he was scared to go too much into character in the beginning because he wanted to be taken seriously and he wanted it to be about the concept and, you know, the meaning. Over time, he kind of grew to realize that would add more to the story. So like there were hints of it in the beginning, which we all know and we all loved, and it literally hints create fan fiction because people thrive on nothingness. But also what's something of note is that I can't remember at what point he was in writing the manga, but he watched Game of Thrones, like he binged it and he became absolutely obsessed with Game of Thrones to the point that he was like, this story is driven by character. Like I need to like grow the fuck up and realize it's not just what the people want, it's what I want. And you can see that change.
He did. Yeah.
And I think that is kind of where season 1 ends, you know, like in the manga as well. And season 2 comes along because you get your main Historia canon. Yes. Kills me. Pour one out, honestly, pour one out. Just not just them, but other people like Annie and Armin, no matter how you feel about it, he would not have written that kind of shit in season 1, even though he hinted at it. Annie pulling down the hood, people are like, it's because she knew him and she was friends with him. No, she had a soft spot for my boy because she still killed other people she recognized. Like they're even hinting at it there. And like Reiner having a crush on Historia, Bertold having a crush on, you know, Annie. I just love like the interpersonal because at the end of the day, they're teenagers. They get out so much to the story. And season 4, honestly, it would not be what it is if it wasn't for those interpersonal stories. Because think of the emphasis it has on character interaction rather than just like Titan fights. Like, oh my God, let's talk about it. When fucking Sasha was killed by Gabby.
Yeah.
Oh my God. R.I.P.
Although the debate that like this is where, like, I'm sure there were other examples before, but this is the first time I saw toxicity in the Attack on Titan community.
Oh, okay.
Because it began the whole debate of like, when does it stop being like a fictional world, and then the things that you're saying are like, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I think
and Gabi was one of them.
We got to buckle in here because this is going to be a whole section of this episode, I think. When we talk about, say, Gabby and Sasha, I just want to say, like, do we have the same standpoint on it?
Depends what,
because it's complex, isn't it? It is and that's what I love about it. It's a complex issue. One, I will never forgive Gabby for it, but it doesn't mean I hate her because she's not a real person at the end of the day. She's a character and she grows from it. Okay, so that's my standpoint on it. But at the end of the day, I just don't. I like Gabby as a character, but I would never forgive the character.
So I don't really care for Gabby as a character. Like, it's like it's not as in like, oh, I hate her because she killed Sasha. I just don't really find her that interesting. Like, I find Falco more interesting than I find her. And I feel like it's one of those things that it's like, if you can remove something from a narrative and it doesn't make a difference, then why would they be in there in the first place? And I feel like her character, sorry to any Gabby fans that are out there, even though I doubt there are that many, you could remove her character and it wouldn't make a difference because Eren still would have made the decisions that he did. Zeke would have still made the decisions that he did.
Okay, we disagree.
Okay.
Okay, right. So, one, child soldier. Okay, so we get a character who's child soldier. We hear that perspective of it, blah, blah, blah. 2, it's a character that switches sides that is a child who is still in the middle of indoctrination. Yeah. 3, it makes so much more sense to have, say, like a child soldier kill Sasha rather than one of the adults, because if it was an adult, immediately everyone would be like, fuck them, like fuck them, they made the choice, da 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 da, they're an adult, they can make their own decisions. But Gabby's still not old enough to have her own critical thinking skills about what Marley has taught her. So I think it's really cool for her to be that meeting ground almost between Marley and Eldia. Does that make sense? So like, and also the fact that she then meets the girl that Sasha saved, that fucking little storyline. Oh my god, in the restaurant when what's his face, Niccolo, Queen, King, when he like is going nuts at Gabby, and you're like, she's literally a child, and it shows, it demonstrates, you know, like how brainwashed they all are. Like there's so much to it, I can't really like begin to explain it. I don't think she could be removed from it.
I get it, and I get the point that she makes. I think it's just, and I guess this is like literally just an opinion thing. It's just that if you didn't have her story in it, I'm not sure how much it would affect my personal viewing.
Got you.
And I also feel like this is definitely influenced again by like having to watch it week for week. Like watching it all together may change my opinion vastly, but having to watch it week to week, it's like I felt like a lot of her story was really predictable. I think it was really obvious while she was there. Effectively, her whole point was to make you realize why Eren is the way that he is.
But then again, I think it had to happen because, as we've seen in the fandom and the community, a lot of people kind of fucking needed the Gabby storyline. There are so many people in the fandom who like something is just not clicking, and they're on one side or the other, not truly seeming to understand that is not the point of the show and the manga. And they only truly stop to think about it with the introduction of Gabby. So it almost leads me to wonder, did Hajime Isayama see his own audience and fans and think, fuck me, I do need to introduce a character like that?
See, maybe this is why I'm not too bothered about her, because like there's nothing wrong with it, but like I didn't need that. I could see it. So for me, her introduction as a character is, I mean, if someone said to me, you have the choice to remove her, would you? I would say no, because I do think it's really interesting. It's just, I think it's quite obvious what she's meant to represent.
Yeah, of course.
So when it came to like people, you know, talking shit about her and hating her, and it's like, in a knowing you're watching a fictional show thing, I get everyone hates villains, but there was just the way people reacted. I was just kind of like, fucking hell, calm down.
It's like, one, it's a fictional character, and two, she's a child. Yeah.
But also, it was also the fact that like, and again, to me, this was really obvious, and I'm sure to a lot of the people it was really obvious as well. She was doing exactly what Eren did for him to lead him to where he is now.
Exactly.
So why could people not see that?
Hear me out. If you are an avid Eren supporter, get away from me. Like, I need bug spray or some shit. But anyway, there is definitely a correlation between the avid Eren supporters who don't even question his choices and the people that detest Gabby. And it's like, don't you see the irony in that? Come on.
True.
Also, that leads me to like, and this is still on course of Gabby, why do people agree with Eren?
Because people fancy him, Lyanna. That's why.
I'm not even talking about people that fancy him. I'm talking about like grown ass men. I'm like, dude, you are low-key all right.
Because people fancy him, Lyanna. That's why.
No, but I'm like, people are like, you're telling me that if you didn't get the chance to kill people that subjugated your people, you wouldn't do it. It's like, I wouldn't do it. Why is this even a debate? Like, the whole point
I guess it's because it's like the whole thing where like, say the characters had been switched and like Gabby was the quote unquote main character and Eren had been her character. It's like, we have seen him for seasons go through what he did and struggle through what he did.
Critical thinking skills to realize.
Yeah, whereas you realize
this is just pure familiarity with a character.
Exactly, because the same thing happened with Gabby. It's just it happened in the space of a few episodes instead of a few seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
And also like, depending on what, obviously this is for non-manga readers, but depending what people's theories are about the end will also depend how you feel about Eren, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like we said, we were going to discuss our theories because we haven't even discussed them with each other. So I know I'm right. Like, I don't even need to like ask anyone at this point. I didn't know.
Do you want to like say them to kind of keep the like how well keep them for later, or do you want to say them now? I kind of want to say it now.
I think mine's like kind of really basic, so I definitely don't think it's going to happen, but it's the only theory I have.
Okay, you go first. You go first.
Okay, so this show has thrown me off so much. And also, one of the reasons I fucking love this show so much, and I can't explain why, but like in previous episodes that we've done this podcast, we've talked about passive and active audiences and how we're definitely more of an active audience. We go into stuff like critically thinking and like probably over analyzing stuff. I don't do that with Attack on Titan. I just sit back and I let it happen. So I really enjoy that for that reason. So every time something happens, I'm like, holy fuck, I didn't think that was going to happen. So my theory is kind of based on that. So it might sound basic to people. I'm just really trying to defend myself here. I'm also not like sure if it's going to happen. But anyway, the reason I think this is because I have pretty much been watching this show 24/7 for the past year.
Yeah.
Like I watched it from the beginning, then I watched it from the beginning after I finished it. Then part 2 of season 4 started and I started watching it from the beginning again. So anyway, there is one part in it and one line in it that I just love as a writer because I think it's insane. And it was when Eren was talking to Pixis on top of the wall. And I think Pixis said something like, if humanity needs an enemy greater than itself to survive. And that really stuck with me because I think that's insane. So my theory is slightly Armin-ish. I don't think that Eren has turned full villain. I think what he's doing is he's being that enemy. I think I think he is become that enemy. It's also because, right, so he has released millions of effectively colossal titans. There is no feasible way in my mind that humanity can fight against that. So the only way I can think that they would win is basically if Eren let them win. And I think because he doesn't have long left to live, so he can't be with anybody he wants to be with. He can't stay with his friends. The only way he can help them is effectively by sacrificing himself. So I think that's what he's become. I think he's become this big bad villain who has become the enemy of humanity. So because we've already seen Eldians and Marley just team up to try and survive. So it's already working.
Succeeding. Yeah.
So that's what I think is the case, because I also know just from like the end credits, Eren's definitely dying. He's dying. He's not 100%. Surviving.
Yeah.
So I think that's the case. I think he's become the big bad, because also the whole idea of like the enemy not the enemy, but the villain wanting to destroy the whole world is so juvenile because it's never made sense. And I don't think Eren's stupid enough to do that. I don't think that's what he really wants.
I think when you've seen the people that Eren hated, so say like Zeke basically wanted to end the Eldian people, and Eren's like, nah, you're a dum-dum. Eren's big thing, don't get me wrong, is keeping all of humanity, away from subjugation and freedom. Like, yeah, he hates Marley, but he wants Eldian people to survive, right? Why would he start the rumbling and make Eldians look even worse? Like, say somehow someone did stop him, Eldians are gonna look even fucking worse, right? He's never gonna do something which would make Eldians look bad. Anything he'd do would be to make Eldians look good.
Like, as I was getting ready today, I was rewatching the first part of second part of season 4, sorry. And I just thought it was really poignant when, I'm sure other people probably noticed this, but I didn't notice it my first time watching it. When Zeke was gonna shout to turn everybody into Titans, Eren tried to stop him. And I think that is really important because he obviously didn't want all of his friends and comrades to be turned into. That was
one of my fucking favorite moments in the entire thing. I was so like, honest to God, like, I have guessed a lot of the fucking show. Like, I've literally said to you. And that is mostly because I think sometimes you just get how a certain writer does shit. Like, you're like, yeah, I'm on your wavelength. And I think that's how I go with Hajime Asayama. Well, I'm like, I can see where this certain dude is going with this certain story. So like, for example, in season 3, the Erwin Armin thing, like, oh my God, I can't remember what happened. When Armin was like, oh, it's going to hurt me, I said, there's a fucking injection from a few episodes back. Boy's becoming a Titan. And
I'm so stupid. I didn't pick up on that. This is my whole
this is what's so good about Hajime Asayama.
Into a passive audience.
He sucks you into a story so well, doesn't he? But at the end of the day, even if you like or don't like how something happens, it always feels right. People saying about Erwin, no. Levi never would have picked Erwin. He would have picked who Erwin would want him to pick, which would be Armin, because Erwin knew he was a selfish bastard. Like, I don't get the Erwin love personally. I think he's an amazing character, but as a person, he's a piece of shit, and no one can change my mind. Like, he just was, you know, like he did good shit, whatever. But that's a whole fucking other debate. I could do a whole episode on the Erwin Armin episode. I just could. But anyway, where was I going with this?
You were going to tell me your theory about how it was going to end.
Yes,
which I want to point out, just because also you're very good at guessing stuff. If your theory includes possible spoilers, please don't talk.
No, I don't. No, because I'm not like saying like what I say is going to be correct.
Okay.
But, yeah. So basically, what I'm thinking is, I completely agree with you. Erin's going to die, and it's going to be his besties that do it. It 100% is.
Oh yeah.
Because let's be real. Look at every good story. Look at Game of Thrones. Right? They did the wrong thing. You know, everyone like reading the books is like, oh my god, like Cersei's gonna be killed by Jaime, like, because that's what makes sense, and it's so intimate and like it's poetic almost. Like, that will be how it happens. Part of me wants it to be Armin, because that's what I would like, but it won't
be though.
It will be Mikasa. No. I think Armin's gonna help get it to that spot, and then Mikasa will make the final blow. And then I think she's going to cry over his dead body or give him a final kiss, or there's going to be right at the end, either as he's dying or when he's gone, will be the big grand romantic gesture, which basically confirms it, because it's never been confirmed. But I don't know. And another character will die. There is no way another major character won't die. And I have my theories. I think I know who. I've got 2 theories on who will die.
Okay, go. Who's your 2 theories?
Well, 3 really. So basically,
oh my God, okay.
Right. So you know the trio, Jean, Connie, Sasha. Part of me feels like one of the last 2 will die, like Connie or Jean. But I also don't, because I think it's way sadder if just one of the, because I'm like, oh my God, what if only one of the trio survives? Like, can you imagine that in an episode?
That's pretty traumatizing, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, low-key, I feel like that might happen. But Connie, don't get me wrong, I like him, but it won't be impactful enough.
I agree.
I can't see Jean dying, because low-key one of the best at being a soldier. Like, he never thought he'd be.
I disagree with you there. I agree with you about Connie. I don't agree with you about Jean.
What you think?
I think he could die.
No, because think about how him and Erin always argued, and Erin's like, I'm the better soldier. Imagine Erin dies and Jean makes it to the end. That's what
do you want to know my theory because of that? I don't think it might be Mikasa that kills him.
You think it would be Jean?
And I think it might be like a Rocky kind of situation.
Right.
I think it might,
love if they surprised like that and did that. But I just think a lot of people would be like, that's not what I wanted. I think the expectation now is for Mikasa or Armin to do it.
That's why I don't think. But that's why I'm not sure it's going to happen.
No, because don't get me wrong, Hajime Isayama, yeah, he does surprise you, but he never does a twist for the sake of a twist.
But to me, it wouldn't be the twist for the sake of a twist. It wouldn't be a twist for me,
but you got to remember how many people would be like, what the fuck?
No. I'm not saying it would be a twist. I just don't think it would be for the sake of it. I actually think it would make a lot of sense.
I'd love it.
Because John and Erin have been literally butting heads since the beginning. It would be poetic for them to face down.
Even if he doesn't kill him, he needs a big hand in that final battle.
I think we need a situation where Mikasa feels helpless.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
And I think that would be it.
Jean gets to go. But honestly, also, I stand by it. They are meant to be together, not Mikasa and Erin. I stand by it. Honestly.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think she's gonna end up with anybody. I think Erin's death's gonna destroy her so much. She ain't gonna.
Call Annie and Armin endgame. Annie and Armin endgame.
Yes. Oh, 100%
happening.
How?
Because they've both killed people important to each other, so it cancels out.
True. But like, I'm also thinking about the whole idea of like, I can't remember how many years it is, but obviously people who inherit the Titans only have so many years. How long does Annie have left?
This is my point.
Armin has longer.
The last little bit with him, because that so makes sense for Armin to finally find someone and then be left alone.
I'm getting teary about it.
I know, but basically, so my other theory of people that will die is going to be one of our 2 baddies left. Levi or Hange, one of them will die.
Oh, no, please don't.
One of them's going to die.
I knew he wasn't going to be dead in this season. but I am fearing for his life because I just know he can't, like, he's so powerful. He's so fucking powerful. How can he keep going? And also, in his current state, he cannot fight. What can he do?
But then it also makes sense for Hange, because do you remember when Erwin was thinking about all his soldiers and he saw them all around him, like the ghosts of them? It would make sense for, because Hange had that, it makes sense for history to repeat itself.
I think it's basically all
the commanders died so far.
Yeah,
exactly. So
I've just realized I am not prepared for this ending. I knew I wasn't anyway, but I'm not. It's gonna, like, I don't care that I'm fucking 25 years old, and actually by the time
I feel 12 when I watched Attack on Titan.
This is what I mean. And honestly, watching, like, if anybody hasn't already, can you please just currently right now go back through Lyanna's tweets? Your Twitter feed has destroyed me in the best way, like, because I knew that people love this show, and I have some friends that love this show, but I didn't realize how, like, it could throw people back into their obsessive like fixations. And I just have loved seeing you just completely be absorbed by it, because I feel
booking Comic-Con fucking tickets when for the first time in nearly 10 fucking years. Let's get it. Last time I went, isn't this poetic? Last time I went was when the first season had just come out. Then I booked tickets when I thought it was going to end. That's poetry. Obviously, it didn't.
Beautiful,
but that's not the point.
But still, that is it.
Poetry. I literally, I can't even begin to explain to you. Like, I rewatched Neon Genesis. Ooh, don't recommend. And I was trying to think what else I've been doing, but I'm just like anime. Same anime. Though. It's all I can think about. Like, I'm just like brain dead. Honestly, like, what's TV? Like, I honestly don't know.
It's just like rewatching Attack on Titan has just awoken everything within me.
I know.
And like, yeah, again, this is just going back to the whole idea of like, I'm annoyed because I can't find out the ending. Like, yes, I know if I read the manga I could, but I don't want to. But at the same time, I'm not ready to say goodbye. So
it's funny because it's like I'm ready to, in a way, but I'm like, I'm just such a, I don't know, like, part of me loves the black and white of the manga and all this shit, but I think I've just gotten so used to the look and the sound of the characters that I need that when it ends for me. Like, I don't think I can end it without hearing their voices. Does that make sense?
I was gonna say, just going off on maybe a little bit of a tangent here, but talking about sound, can we talk about the soundtrack that has come with this anime?
Can we talk about the rumbling?
Oh my god.
I pissed myself the first time I heard it, but at the same time, Song of the Century. Like,
I was literally right. I accidentally played the last episode of part 1 when I went to watch it, and I was like, oh, they've decided to use the same intro. That's a bit strange. And then I realized I was watching the wrong episode, so I put it on, and I was like, I literally got like a fucking jump scare. I was like, huh, what? And now I listen to it when I'm at the gym. Like, I'm not even joking.
I cannot even begin to explain to you how much I love the sound from this show. Oh my god. Like, in the first few seasons, the Wit seasons, when there would be like, let's also talk about this, the world building. As soon as we pass sound, world building. Because those little fucking information screens are honestly one of my favorite parts of Attack on Titan. Like, I'm honest god obsessed. Pause. What's that shit say? Like, they just add so much to the world. Like, you don't need them, but you're going to get so much more out of the show with them. And like, the sounds, they're like like all that shit in season 1, fucking love it. Season 4 barely included it. It included a little bit in the last episode, and I'm like, bitch, where have you been? Like, I was honestly
but my argument with that is that there's just like not that much to reveal now, whereas obviously in the earlier seasons there was like, oh, what about this?
So
it's funny you say that.
Fucking episode 1, when the Colossal Titan first comes up and there's that music, there's like, oh, fucking
that's my point. That's my point though. Like, right, so one of the things I wanted to bring up is like, have you watched any of the OVAs?
Don't talk to me, they're my religion at the minute. Honest to God, I love them.
Because this is just another example of like the character building in this. And do you want to hear a funny story that I can't remember if I've told you or not, but everybody can hear it right now. So when I was trying to watch the second season, I can't remember where I found it, but I found it somewhere. However, it had only just come out, so a lot of it hadn't, I'm assuming it had been subtitled, but the versions I was watching had no subtitles. So it's part of the reason I ended up not watching it, because I was like, I can only watch so much Japanese I don't understand before I have to be like, okay, I need to give it a break. Anyway, none of the episodes that I watched had like names. So I had to kind of just hope for the best that I was watching the next one in line. And there was this one episode that I watched that was, I assumed at the time was a flashback, and it was Hanji and Levi and the Survey Corps all going out and doing their exploring.
Yeah.
And Hanji comes across a Titan that can talk.
That
right?
fucking.
So no, listen, just stick with me for a minute here, right? So that happens, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a mega development. And I think that may be the last one I ever watched until last year when I like rediscovered it again. But the thing is that because I wasn't sure what I was watching, I, for the longest time, genuinely thought I had dreamt that episode.
Okay.
Because then when I rewatched it and Zeke came into the picture, and obviously at the time we only knew him as the Beast Titan and he could talk and everybody was surprised, I was like, wait, I thought we knew the Titans can talk. And I was really confused. And then I said to myself, I was like, holy shit, I had a dream where Titans can talk. I fucking predicted this. Oh my God. But then when the first part ended and I needed something to keep me going, I discovered the OVAs. And the first one is obviously that episode. It's Hanji discovering the diary and realizing there's a Titan that can talk. And I was just like, okay, I didn't imagine it, but I just need everybody to know that for like how long was there between season 2 and me watching it? For years I had thought I had dreamt this, and then I ended up watching it, and I cannot explain to you the uncanny valley I went down.
That's so fun. To be fair, I've had experiences like that. Like, just to go on a tangent, like I remember watching Akira when I was like 14, and it was the bit when the gang like strips the girl's shirt off and they're attacking them. I've seen this. This is a dream. This is deja vu. Talked to my dad about it. Oh yeah, I showed you Akira when you were like 7. I was like, sick, Dad, thanks. But like that happens. Honestly, it's such a weird feeling, but it weirdly like makes something like more fun. You know, does that make sense? But the OVAs, just to talk about them real quick, fuck me, they are so good because you can get whatever you want from Attack on Titan. You can get some of the fun, but the Gene episode kills me, or you can get stuff about Levi and it's heartbreaking. And it's just like, damn, like they didn't have to do this and they did.
His OVAs solidified him as my favorite character, and I know that makes me basic, but he is a short king. He 100% has an obsessive compulsive disorder.
I think that makes
so much rage.
He's a good fucking character for a reason. Like, what other character is that OP? But you're like, yeah.
Do you know what the funny thing is though? That like this is going to be a really weird comparison, but I do not like Superman as a character because I think he's so, but that's what I mean. He's so fucking powerful that like who can ever defeat him? Levi is literally the same, and yet I love that little fucker so much.
Yeah, but it's because he's not indestructible. So like, oh my God, Levi versus Zeke, masterpiece. That first bit in Return to Shiganshina, oh my fuck, that was like one of my favorite minutes. The whole show's like, an Ackerman, and he like fucking slices up his arm.
My favorite relationship in anime, Zeke and Levi, non-sexually, non-romantically, are my OTP. I fucking love them so much. I think their chemistry and their dynamic is insane,
and it just shows you can love a pairing without it having to be romantic. Like I love Eren and Jean. I love them. Like they are such a perfect pairing. And I should think of others I love, like Levi and Hange. Oh my God, love them. There's so many. And I just who was it? Oh my God, what's his name? Keith Shaddis and Matey Boy Kruger. Oh my God. No, you know who I mean. Oh my God, I've literally forgotten Eren's dad's name. Grisha. Yeah. Their pairing, when you see that they had a history and then he hid it and then literally says like in an early episode of season 1, like, oh my God, Grisha, your son. And I'm like, damn, that was so cool. I was like, you didn't even think about it or question it until you found out. I'm like, damn, that was really cool.
I kind of wish, and like maybe they did and I just forgot, but because of how like great the characters are and like the relationship dynamics are, I wish maybe they'd done an episode where like, you know, sometimes you get episodes of like you get characters that work so well together that they do an episode where for some reason characters that don't work so well together end up in a situation. I wish maybe they'd done something like that. Like I would have liked to have seen Levi and Jean in an episode and see how they connect with each other.
There's certain people you never see together in the show.
That's what I mean, though. It would have been really interesting. Maybe I should delve into like that fanfic side of things. But I'm also kind of scared.
Moments when you throw characters together where you're like, what? Like that moment between Ymir and Reiner, iconic, will go down in history. What a moment. What a moment. I think there's two iconic moments. They're like, I didn't think you were into girls. Oh, funny. I didn't think you were into guys.
Basically,
Change the world. Change my life. And then the other bit was like, whoa, you can read what this says. And Ymir's like,
yeah.
Like, that's one of my favorite moments in the entire fucking show, because you revisit it and it just has so many layers. Like, one, what's a tin? What's a fucking can? What's herring? What's that language? Like, there are so many ways that they both fucked up there. And I'm like, damn, you didn't even get to see them call each other out. Oh my god, if we're talking hints, oh my god, that same fucking arc in season 2 where they're on the tower and you look in the background and Bertholdt's about to
literally though.
Oh my
but
god.
Things I did not notice at the time, and this is why I fucking love exploring this after the fact.
It's insane. Jimmy Isayama's crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah.
And he always says he never planned out the whole thing. Like, you're lying. Because there's like no holes in it.
Hold on. No. I believe it, right? Because even though, don't get me wrong, I'm not like tooting my own horn here. My writing is nowhere near on the same level. I have had moments though where I have written a scene and then somehow I later on or whatever it is tied in and I'm like, fuck, I didn't mean for that to happen. It's the subconsciousness of a writer. It just, I believe him. I fully believe him when he says that he didn't plan it out, because I'm just like, it's because you're a genius. You're an artiste.
It's so good.
Sensational.
There's just so many instances. Like, I can't even begin to fucking list them.
Yeah.
He's a fucking icon for it. Like, the coffee. You know, the Zeke and all were drinking. They're like, what's this? An exotic bean? And then that should have led us to realise they were on an island because they don't have enough land. Oh, yeah. Oh my god.
I still would never forget the way I felt about that after scene credit bit with like Krishna and his sister on Marley, and you saw it and you were like, this thing isn't even fucking close to ending. Yeah. What the shit is going on?
If we're talking like truly like mind-blowing moments, I think mine by a fucking mile was King Fritz getting the girls to eat their mum. That's my favorite bit of the whole show. Like 100%. Like,
see, that's where I can see the Game of Thrones influence.
Oh yeah, it's just the fact he's so fucked, because how the fuck did the dude know that would work? He didn't. He's just like, eat her up, dinner time.
Yeah. Like, and also I didn't even realize this until like a mutual friend of ours pointed it out, and maybe again it was just me being stupid, but like the credits of season 3 basically told you that story, and I didn't even know.
It's so cool.
And
he told them to do that. Did you know that shit wasn't in the manga yet? I didn't know that. He said he got them to put in the credits. I know.
A genius.
I know.
Like,
I'm being dead serious. Honestly, viewers can hold me to this, like viewers and listeners. I'm planning to get a tattoo of the 3 daughters, right? I think on my legs, like, you know, them all looking like traumatized. So just you wait. That'll go on the White Noise Twitter account when it's done.
100%.
Honestly,
do it.
I'm excited. This is the thing of Attack on Titan. Like, you can get like amazing moments of art. You know, like, it's not just about the writing, but the visuals. Oh yeah, my God.
I'm so obsessed with, if anyone can't tell, I'm really obsessed with the Titan eyes. I think they're gorgeous. So I don't know whose eyes I want, but I want somebody's Titan eyes on my thigh.
Oh, that would be cool.
That's what I want, and that's what I'm getting. I don't know who though. So if somebody wants to tell me, show me examples.
Just don't understand how someone can not just write something amazing, but also draw these insane visual ideas. Like one, the look of the Titans. What? 2, how iconic is the gear? 3, the logos of the different military branches, like all of it. Honestly, the walls, like what? I don't understand.
It's so intricate. It's so beautiful. It's so well thought out. And I mean, it's just, it gives everything, because like realistically, if you like anime, you're probably the kind of person that's like gets obsessed over stuff, and if you are, I love you, you should get obsessed over stuff. But Attack on Titan is like the perfect anime for it, because there is so much, and like I appreciate there are obviously other animes that do it, but the story, the characters, the costumes, the music, the dialogue, the character dynamics, I cannot fool this show. As much as I might have like slight problems with like pacing every so often or whatever, I also have to appreciate that comes from the fact that I get so frustrated because I love this show that I'm giving 20-minute episodes every week.
Exactly. Like,
yeah,
honest to God, like people talk about the all-time greats, and I seriously put Attack on Titan up there, like story-wise and character-wise, because these characters, I can't get a fuck enough of them. And the more you learn about them, the more you care about them, the visuals you learn, more you care more the world. Like, you know, those things you look at, you read, you watch, and you're like, fuck's sake, I wish I did that. Like, honest to God, Attack on Titan. Like, if I had to say, like, pick three, there's say Twin Peaks, maybe fucking Night of the Living Dead. I'm being dead serious. And because like, come on. And then Attack on Titan, like dead serious. I would put it up there, level of iconic already. And it's like not even finished the anime yet. So.
But then like this brings us into a whole other discussion that like if we'll get into it today, I don't know. If we need to do a whole other episode on it, we can. But the popularity Attack on Titan has separate to anime.
Yes.
And like
it broke through, didn't it?
But the thing is, I wrote something not that long ago about how growing up, I was made to feel weird about liking anime. And then it got worse because the older I got, I was made to feel weird about liking animation. And then these same people that made me feel weird about it are now watching Attack on Titan. And I'm like, we've talked about it before, but it's like the Squid Gamification of things. It's like Squid Game is a K-drama. If you like Squid Game, then you liked a K-drama. If you like Attack on Titan, then you liked an anime. You cannot deny it. And I like and also resent the way it's brought people together.
And I think it's important to admit when you resent something, because at the end of the day, while I'm so happy that people love it and it's bringing people to something that they enjoy, I can also be a bit pissed off because like I want people to enjoy something I enjoy, but like don't remove it from what it is. At the end of the day, it's a Japanese creator, it's a Japanese studio, like it is Japanese, it's anime. Like don't try and remove it from what it is, you know?
It's one of those things where it's like, if you like Attack on Titan and I like Attack on Titan, cool. But if you like Attack on Titan and I like watching Parasite, or I like watching Sword Art Online, or I like watching Demon Slayer, don't then think I'm strange or weird for liking these things. And like I need to calm down because I'm going to get annoyed about the wrong things.
The wine
but I think but the thing is though, it's one of those things that it's like I really love how it's breaking that barrier, but like a part of me worries that like it isn't actually doing that. In a weird way, it's actually not
you
making
worry
it
it's
worse.
just a blip, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much. I think as soon as this is over, we're going to go straight back to the way it was. Like, for example, again, oh, you like watching Squid Game? Even though I know it's definitely not the same thing. Have you watched Pinocchio? No? They're both K-dramas. I enjoy both.
But then saying that, look at the fucking success of Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, you know?
I do think there is a change in the wind. I really do think there is. And I think these kind of animes are making that change. And it's like, it's perfectly fine if you don't like a certain anime. You don't have to. But like, don't shit on people for liking stuff.
I think my big thing with it is people categorizing, and obviously we are not the first people to fucking say this, but people categorizing, say, all of K-dramas, all of K-pop, all of anime, all of any kind of like, so not niche genre at all, of course, but any kind of interest which like, say, like being in like America or Europe is deemed a bit weird. It's such a dumb umbrella term, because at the end of the day, like, I could like one anime, you could like a different anime, and we like completely opposite things. Because like, I don't know about you, you ever seen fucking Elfen Lied? That's the weirdest shit ever. And
I have not.
Someone could love that, and I could love Ghibli. We do not like the same shit, but people still say, oh, you both like anime, you'll get on. And I think it's just dumb to branch all under one thing. I think,
but it's even like we're just exploring now. We like very similar things about Attack on Titan, but we have very different opinions on things, and like that's cool, that's fine. Why? Because it's just from being a person that enjoys something.
Yeah,
it's not because like, yes, do I like anime as an art form, and I guess maybe you could say a genre? Yes, I do. However, I know people that don't. I know people that just like what they like, and that's also cool. I just don't understand why people can't make that differentiation between them.
I'm honestly beyond caring. Like, I be out with
True.
co-workers getting hanging, and I'm over my pint shouting at everyone like, watch that, watch that.
See, I've only just started to find that. Like, there is a colleague that I work with at the moment who, after like every Attack on Titan Sunday, Monday or Tuesday at the latest, we would be like, have you watched it? We need to discuss.
Yeah.
And like, she's the reason that I'm now watching Demon Slayer and things like that. Like, she's recommended other things to me, and like, I didn't think in my mid-20s in an office I would find this, and I'm happy that I have.
Oh, I love that. It's just funny, isn't it, how you can like find people that have like such a shared passion with you in the most like random place. And that's something I'm loving about Attack on Titan. Like, we've mentioned the online community. I fucking love it. Have you seen those memes about the Attack on Titan fandom where like it will be like, oh my god, my poor baby boy, and it's like someone dying, and the next one will be like a first track edit of someone. Like, I just love how varied
but this
it
is what
like,
I mean.
it just has such a broad appeal, you know.
And I also love, like, you've already brought it up, but like, I love how almost kind of meta it is, because you have like Attack on Titan High or whatever it was called.
Yeah, Junior High.
That's it. No, but that's what I mean. Like, you have that side of it, and like, I love it. It's cutesy and it's funny, and it's like, it almost kind of takes the piss out of the original piece.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I love the original, and I think again it just shows that there are so many different kinds of people that can come to this anime and just take from it what they want. Like, I wouldn't say exactly there's something for everybody, because it is very violent, it is very gruesome. If
You forget
like those
though,
kind of things.
sometimes when you're watching it, you forget, because if it was live action, oh, the amount of fucking blood. Jesus.
Speaking of live action, just quickly to go off on a tangent, and we probably won't talk about this for long, but have you seen the live action
I'm
films?
never gonna watch it ever in my life.
If anybody wants us to do like a live reaction to them, can you let us know? Because I would love to see Lyanna's reaction to them, because this is nothing against the writers of them, this is nothing against the actors and actresses that were in them, but the films are trash. So bad.
Don't they condense the story? And it came out when like there was only one season out. Like,
there was so much. I mean, let's be honest, this is like a whole other episode on its own, but like, live action films that are based on animes, there's a reason stuff is animated. The only thing I will give the Attack on Titan films is that, like, the live action anime films, is that they weren't that bad. Like, the Titans were kind of all right, but I would be so interested to see your opinion to them, because they changed the story so much. They ironically do, I don't know why, but they do a similar thing to what the Mulan films did. So to anyone who's seen the live action Mulan, they got rid of Li Shang's character and replaced him with basically the same character with a new name. They did the same thing to Levi in the Attack on Titan. You can imagine how that pissed me off.
He's the biggest appeal of the show.
Yeah, but the thing is though, then the character who they replaced him with, if they had actually made him Levi, I would have been so pissed, because they did my boy dirty.
Why? What's different?
No, you know what? We're gonna keep this. If people want us to do like a live reaction to them, I would be here for it, because I need to know.
I'm going to be dead serious with you. If we're talking characters, I'm so serious. We need to do a tier ranking
of all the characters. Okay, that will be incoming, because I need some time to think.
I actually think this could be quite fun. I think we should do this. I'm holding myself to it.
When we're coming up to the hopefully final part of the final season, I think just before that comes out, we should do our tier list, because I think it would be so interesting to do that, and then to look at what happens to our characters after we've said that. I think that would be good.
I love that.
Where are you still wanting to go? I mean, I know there's so much still to discuss, but like, where are you still wanting to go?
I feel like I can go back to different topics. Like, it's funny because we've danced around topics, but that's really the only way I find myself able to talk about Attack on Titan, because you're talking about characters, so you talk about one character, which makes you talk about visuals, which makes you talk about this, which makes you talk about music, and then you come back to another character, blah 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 blah. But I do think one thing we did gloss over, which I do want to revisit before we finish this episode, is the beliefs of the fandom, because we very lightly touched on it, but I just want to reiterate like my own stance. You can like a complex character. Complex characters are the titties. We all know this. Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, like we are in the era of the anti-hero. We are. And you know, like Mad Men, everything. The whole point is like they're kind of cool because they do the shit you low-key want to do. But like in Mad Men, it's that he's shagging people he shouldn't shag. It's not that he's committing fucking genocide. Come on. And I just really would like to see some of the fan base, like maybe like watch again before the next part comes out, because I can't do this again, Skye. I cannot go through the next part of the show scrolling on TikTok and having to put not interested because someone's like, oh my God, you tell me you wouldn't do it. No.
Okay, so I can't lie. I don't like support Erin's genocide plan. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I need to make that clear right now. Nor do I thirst after him. I also need to make that clear right now. However, because of how I think it's going to end, that's the only reason. I wouldn't even say support what he's doing, but I'm like with what he's doing right now.
Yes.
However, if it doesn't end the way I think it's going to end, then that boy needs therapy.
Wait, that does make me think of something to talk about. The episode Seeing Memories. We cannot end this without going into that a bit, but basically one thing I want to say is, if it ends with him being, you know, like, oh my God, he did it for his besties, he did it for the audience, I'm gonna low-key gonna be pissed, because it's gonna give the people that are Eren supporters ammo. So if people say I don't support what Eren did, people are going to be like, yeah, but he did it for the good of the audience. And it's like,
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, see? I'm
you
just
make
going
a
to
good
low-key
point.
support him. Yeah. This is why there are, and I don't know if you've seen this, a lot of people are actually against Attack on Titan. There are a lot of people who are very, very critical of it, because at the end of the day, it does depict genocide, and a lot of people don't like that it kind of makes you sympathize for someone attempting to commit genocide. And I do kind of get that point of view, because I understand what the show's trying to do, but when you look at some of the viewers who are not looking at it critically, and they are like, I like Eren, you can see where, like, but then this is the trouble with any kind of show or media.
I was just going to say, the only thing I'll say towards that is, like, whilst I agree, I don't think it's like obviously a positive narrative to be showing. Oh, I don't know if this is going to be controversial, but like, but I'm just thinking, if you are only thinking that, like, if you are supporting Eren without any kind of thoughts about what he's doing is wrong or anything like that, then like you need to go and also get therapy, maybe
rewatch, because, I think,
yeah, obviously what he's doing is wrong, because it's that whole, like, what is it, the trolley problem, like, would you sacrifice one person for five or five person for one? What if you knew that one person? What if you knew all those five? Like, this is why I personally love the show, because I think it brings in a lot of moral complexities. There is no black and white, there is no good or bad. Like, we've literally seen a character, because one of the biggest things of anime is that you have a character who is the hero, and Attack on Titan, it's not the only one, but Attack on Titan is one of the main ones that have gone against that, because we have seen our hero, who everyone has to remember was literally a child when it all happened. He saw his mother be eaten by his dad's ex-wife. But he saw all of that, and then he was corrupted by that. He had, and then the fatherly and motherly figures and parental figures he had in his life were all really flawed and fucked. Like, he has not had a healthy upbringing. He is a fucked up, complex character, and I acknowledge that, and I appreciate that, and can separate that. So I do understand the issue people are having with Attack on Titan, but I do just think it's because it's the flavor of the month. Like you just said, you can go and look at different films and different shows that have already done this. Is it what you should do? Probably not. However, you have to appreciate that like different kinds of audiences are watching this. You have audiences that can distinguish reality from fantasy and audiences that cannot. However, the audiences that cannot are probably also getting this from other media forms as well. So I don't think that, I'm not saying that you said this, but like I don't think Attack on Titan should be demonized for this.
I think the problem is, at the end of the day, to depict genocide and the complexities of like war crimes, I'm not saying you have to show them, but you kind of have to like to explore something, you have to explore something. So like of course it's going to be present in the show and the manga, isn't it? And I think like it's not as simple as just saying it bad, because a lot of people, they're not going to get that message. But my final standpoint on it is, you can sympathize for Eren without supporting Eren, and I think a lot of people are struggling to separate those things. And
and I also think one of the things with Attack on Titan, and this is just the case with anime in general, and actually thinking about it, this is just the case with a lot of shit in general, when you have attractive characters, people forgive a lot of shit. And the thing is that like, I have a lot of like influencers that I follow and I like, who make jokes about this kind of stuff, but it's because I know that they're joking. And it's like, this is a really basic comparison, but like it's the only one I can think of at the moment. It's like Patrick Bateman. It's like you have a really attractive character doing really fucked up shit, but people are like, oh, I can kind of forgive it because he's like kind of fit. And it's the same thing with Eren.
Like, I mean, I'm not being funny. Look at the good for her genre.
Exactly.
You think, oh, she's bad, like, and I completely agree with you. And it's quite funny because you kind of explaining Eren's character and his parents being fucked up and all this stuff. It's really making me think of another character in another landmark anime, which a lot of people actually have been saying really must have influenced Attack on Titan, and it's Neon Genesis. So Shinji, he can be a bit of a bastard. Like, not that he does bad things, but there's moments where you're so mad because you want him to do the right, courageous thing. And the show is constantly pummeling over your head. He's a traumatized fucking kid. Like, his parents are nutters. Like, he is traumatized and he can't do the right thing. And it's so fascinating looking at that fan base, because it kind of mirrors Attack on Titans, where like half the people can see that and half the people just refuse to see it. And like, he's a fucking idiot. It's like, he's 14. He's 14. And he's got a fucked up life. And it's just another thing in Attack on Titan. Similarities between the two are endless. So like endless cycles, family, love, parents, using giant monster things to fight other things. Like, it is insane when you compare the two. So I will just say, right, nearing the end of this episode, like, if you are feeling a void in your life, try Neon Genesis. I could recommend so many things to fill that Attack on Titan gap in your heart. Like, Game of Thrones. We said Neon Genesis. Trying to think of other examples. There's so many.
Demon Slayer's the one that my friend my work told me to fill it at the moment, which currently I'm seeing it. I get it. It's the same thing with like complex characters. If complex characters are the reason that you're watching Attack on Titan, then I would say Demon Slayer. I also know that Demon Slayer is just genuinely popular at the moment. I didn't realize that because I live under a rock. So I'm only now getting into it. But for anybody who is also like me, because I refuse to believe I'm the only one of me in the world, that's the one I'm currently watching to fill it. And I also will admit the best way to fill your Attack on Titan void is to just watch Attack on Titan.
It honestly is.
Just keep watching it. I'm not even lying. I am going to have it on repeat for a year until we're back.
Honestly, I'm the same. I'm just going to restart already, because at the end of the day, what other show is so gorgeous, has such good music, complex characters, amazing world, such good balance of action and quiet moments, and there's nothing like it, is there?
I am gonna have it on repeat until Attack on Titan, the final season, part 25.
Hell fucking yeah. Honest to God, like I've been excited for a lot of things, but I think it's all gonna pale in comparison to the lead up to part 3.
I agree. I do. I think it's gonna be fucking insane. I am excited. I am here for it. Yes, we will be back with another episode about it, because we can't just let it pass. This is going to be a moment in our lives. I'm going to be telling my grandkids about this. I'm not even joking.
Literally. Honestly, we are going to be unbearable. absolutely unbearable, and I'm so excited to be a pain in the ass to
Oh yeah,
everyone.
please go ahead and follow our Instagram, our Twitter, because we're just gonna be it's all gonna be Attack on Titan content. We cannot let this slide. We can't let this go.
We can. I mean, I literally have a cape that I was meant to wear for this episode. There's one stop away on Amazon right now, so I've never been so pissed in my life. I will be wearing it for the next episode. I promise you. I will be. I honestly can't believe it. It's so typical. But the makeup has been fun. I will say I'm enjoying dressing up for episodes. So if you guys can think of any episodes you want us to do, which will involve makeup, I am 100% going to consider it. So.
Please let us know. If it involves any more, then no, because we only have a makeup budget on White Noise.
Of palettes that we already include.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
If people could spread the word and share us to your friends, your co-workers, your grandma, maybe we could upgrade our budget a bit, but currently we only have a makeup budget. I think we do the best with it that we can.
I think we do amazing, Skye. Not to toot my own horn. I mean, we are not Rick fucking Baker. Like, we are not going to be doing no fucking George Romero as makeup anytime soon. But I would like to. So look out October.
Yeah.
And look out for the next Attack on Titan episode. Fuck knows when it'll be. But
incoming, it's gonna be, look, we're gonna involve ourselves in the next season, and then when it gets announced that there is going to be a film to end it, we'll be there as well.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, this has been a very sprawling episode for Thank You you've stuck with until now, but like we've barely scratched the surface, quite honestly, so buckle in, besties.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it for today. Look forward to my probable insert if you're watching the YouTube video of me wearing the cape. I'll include the photo here or something like that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Thank you. Please leave like, subscribe if you feel so inclined. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed. And that's it for today. So
yeah. Bye.